After the games, a hedgehog, a plumber, a princess, and some tiny sneezes. Phew. Mario breathed a sigh of relief as he wiped his forehead with his hand. What a day. It ain't easy being in the Olympics, huh, Princess? Princess Peach took a sip of her warm tea, nodding as she set her teacup down afterward. It certainly isn't, she agreed. But how'd you do at the triple jump, Mario? Oh, it was a piece of cake. Breezed right through it, Mario replied. And nice job at the ice skating event, Peach. That was a beautiful. Peach giggled into her hand as she blushed a bit. Why, thank you. I'm quite proud of it myself. I just hope the others aren't too jealous of my skills. Well, I do have my suspicions about Waluigi, Mario thought to himself. That was when they heard a knock on the door. Mario made his way over to it, then placed his hand on the doorknob, turned it, and pulled the door open. Sonic was at the door, and he was pretty happy to see Mario. Hey, Mario. Hey, Sonic. Good to see you again. Mario greeted him with a smile. He moved out of the way so that the hedgehog could come into the room, and Sonic did as he was told. Oh, hello, Sonic. Peach smiled as she greeted him as well. How was your day at the games? It was all right. I got the swimming event out of the way, Sonic stated, and he could almost see Mario's eyes widening in disbelief. You? Swimming? You got to be kidding me, said Mario. Yeah, I couldn't believe it myself, said Sonic, especially considering everyone thinks I'm afraid of water. That's only partially true, though. He trailed off after that, however, as his nose began to twitch, moving back and forth a bit noticeably. That was when he turned away from Mario and Peach. He lowered his eyelids, tilting his neck back as his mouth fell open. Huh? Huh? Mario raised an eyebrow in curiosity, only for his eyes to widen as he realized what was going to happen. Peach gave a light gasp as well. Sonic was going to sneeze. Achoo! Achoo! When Sonic finally doubled over and fired 2 sneezes, however, they sounded much different than usual. Both of them were very quiet. In fact, it was like they were almost being whispered. Mario and Peach couldn't help but stare at him, not believing what they'd seen or heard. They could have sworn they had heard Sonic sneezing much more loudly before. My goodness, Peach said. Once he had finished, Sonic stood back up, rubbing his nose with his index finger. Excuse me. Bless you, Mario said. You okay, Sonic? The hedgehog sniffled as he rubbed his nose a bit more. Yeah, I'm all right. He then pulled his hand away from his nose. Then again, the water in that pool I had to swim in was pretty cold. And judging by how quiet those sneezes were, I think I might have picked up a little bit of... Sonic cleared his throat a bit, not sure if Mario or Peach were ready for what he was about to bring up. Tiny sneeze. Tiny sneeze? I don't think I've heard of that, Peach acknowledged. Me neither, said Mario. What is the tiny sneeze, Sonic? I've had it a couple of times before. It basically causes you to sneeze quietly, Sonic said. As he explained, his nose began to twitch again, as if bringing it up was tickling his nose. Like this. Huh? Achoo! The hedgehog brought his upper body forward for another light sneeze, making sure to put his arm over his mouth as he did. God bless you, Peach said as Sonic rubbed his nose again. Sonic smiled to thank her as he resumed. Apparently it's pretty similar to the common cold, but I wouldn't say it's quite as bad. I mean, all I'm doing is sneezing quietly every now and then. Oh, and is my nose turning red or something? A little, Mario admitted. Yeah, that'll happen too. Sonic rubbed the back of his neck with his hand, a cute sheepish expression on his face. Other than that, it's not too much of a big deal. You could say it's nothing to sneeze at. He and Mario chuckled, and Peach giggled as she realized the little joke he'd made. Sonic had to finish a bit early, however, as he stifled his next sneeze into his fist. The sound that resulted was nearly inaudible. Well, I'm glad you're not having much trouble with it, Mario said as Sonic rubbed his nose with the side of his hand. But don't you think you should get to some rest? Besides, the games will keep going tomorrow, and I'm not sure how your next events could turn out if you're still sneezing, Peach added. That's a good point, Sonic replied. I was planning on lying down in a few minutes anyway. Okay, but before you go, Peach brought out another cup of tea and poured her pot into it. She then offered that same cup to Sonic. Would you like some tea, Sonic? Perhaps it'll help you feel better. Good idea. With a quiet stipple, Sonic took the cup in both hands and drank it down. It was clear that he liked it, and as he finished the last drop, he gave a sigh of relief. Thank you, Princess. My pleasure, Sonic. I hope you feel better soon. Oh yeah, Mario said in agreement. And one more thing, do you need a tissue? Yes, please. Sonic rubbed his nose again, sniffling lightly. With that, Mario reached into his pocket, pulled out a tissue, and offered it to the hedgehog. With a grateful smile on his face, Sonic accepted it, but almost no sooner than he did, another tickle found its way into his nose. Another sneeze was coming. After these inhales came a brief pause, one that lasted about a second and a half, and finally it happened once more. Achoo! Sonic brought his neck forward, covering his mouth and nose with his tissue that he held in both hands. He then sniffled, wiping his nose gently with that same tissue. That was when Mario and Peach blessed him. Salute, Mario said, being Italian. Bless you, Peach replied. Sonic managed a little smile, even as he continued to wipe his nose. Thank you. You guys have a good night. I'll see you in the morning. With that, Sonic made his way out of the room, with Mario and Peach smiling at him as they watched him go. Although a few sniffles slipped out as the hedgehog made his way back to his room, he was glad he'd taken the time to visit them. Even if they weren't on the same team, he was grateful for their unconditional support outside of the games they were competing in. By the way, when the next morning came, Sonic was feeling much better. The redness had gone away from his nose, and he didn't feel like sneezing at all. The tea that Peach had shared with him must have helped, he figured. As he prepared himself for the day's events, Sonic made a reminder to thank the Princess of the Mushroom Kingdom for a little remedy when he had the chance. The end. I love that story. It's so cute and wholesome.